Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Where We're At Wednesday. Be sure to follow me on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I post every Sunday a pick a card called Soul Sundays, where I really ask people to intuitively get connected with their spirit and pick a card, and on that card is an affirmation that they should take with them throughout the week. So follow me on those platforms, kind of get you a little head up on this Where We're At Wednesday. I do have the card selection part in this video, but if you kind of want to get a head start and have your affirmation already kind of brewing in your spirit from a Sunday, please be sure to follow me at Botanicabby on all platforms. Okay, so we are going to go into Where We're At Wednesday. We're going to check in with each group about the affirmations, where we are with practicing those affirmations and really including them in our lifestyle. Okay, we're going to head over to our card selection right now. Welcome to our card selection part of this video. Right now I really want you to get in tune with yourself. I really want you to take your 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, what does my soul need this week? What does my soul need to foster this week? What affirmation does my soul need for this week? We have our first group with our rose quartz. We have our second group with our clear quartz. And then we have our third group with our black tourmaline. Take your time now to make your card selection. If you want to, feel free to pause, take some more breaths, and truly get connected with spirit and choose the card that you are drawn to, or choose the cards that you are drawn to. Hello group number 1, you have chosen the group with the crystal of rose quartz, and we have the affirmation of empathy. It says, I am open to seeing both sides of the situation. So for my people who chose group number 1, with empathy, I acknowledge how hard it can be to see other people's perspectives. I said that it's hard to see people's perspectives because naturally we want to be inclined to see our perspective and think that it's right? But with empathy, it really does challenge you to open your eyes up to understand how someone else feels about something, to understand how someone really sees a situation. You know, it opens your eyes up to acknowledge that person, honestly. Empathy is acknowledging that person and how they may differ from you. It's not being afraid of how y'all differ. It's not being fearful of how y'all differ, but understanding how y'all differ and taking that into consideration in any situation. Practicing empathy is hard. Practicing empathy calls us to not be selfish, to remove ourselves from the equation for a minute, and see how other people feel and see how other people are thinking, okay? So I'm going to pull some surrounding energies around my group number 1. We have broken heart. So some of y'all are dealing with a relationship and y'all are brokenhearted, something that you are emotionally attached to. This may not be romantically in a relationship where your heart is being broken right now, but it could be in any type of relationship where you really are seeing your side as the one maybe of being brokenhearted and the other side as the aggressor, and you're really trying to understand at this point both sides, how you've gotten heartbroken and how a person has caused you to be heartbroken. So seeing those both sides, it's hard, especially in a tough situation where you feel like your heart is broken. Like that is tough. So we have walking away. So I heavily feel people who chose group number 1, you are right now deciding whether to walk away from a situation and not see that person's other side because you're brokenhearted. Maybe you may be feeling some type of way. You may want to walk away from this person not even trying to see their side, not even wanting to acknowledge their side. I feel like spirit is telling you with this is your energy. This may not be the best energy for you at this moment. They're telling you overall to practice empathy, with this being your main affirmation. To not walk away from the understanding of that other person, to not walk away from getting the understanding of that other person. Although feelings may be hurt at this moment, hearts may be broken, You may be asking me, like, why do I need to see that other person's side? But at the end of the day, you want to know why, like, you know, they feel that type of way, or they did that action to you that makes you want to walk away, that makes you have a broken heart. So empathy is seeing that other side. Understanding it is not necessarily accepting it. I heavily feel from this situation that maybe y'all don't want to accept that other person's perspective or reasoning behind something, but seeing it is good to see the situation, to see how kind of things have gotten where they are. So practicing empathy in order to get clarity is a big thing that I'm hearing right now. So let's go into further affirmations. Spirit, what affirmations do you have for my group number 1 regarding empathy, broken heart, walking away? Spirit, we have balance. So empathy, both sides. I'm seeing like a justice little pendulum. You know, you have to think about balance, balancing both sides, balancing both viewpoints, seeing both viewpoints for where they are. It says balance. It says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. So when you're trying to practice empathy and you're trying to practice seeing another perspective, do so without judgment, y'all. Do so with the idea of wanting to see that person for who they are and just accept it, you know. Accept, because they're going to show you who they are. Or when you're in a situation where it's not necessarily a person, that thing is going to show what it is and its impact in your life and where it's coming from. But have a wanting of balance to see that empathy, to see both sides. Have a want of doing so without judgment. I think it's the biggest thing. Empathy is something that should be practiced without judgment. You know, understanding, like I said, understanding is not necessarily accepting, you know. But empathy does push you to acknowledge that other person, acknowledge how they feel, acknowledge what they see. So patience, big thing to practice with empathy. You may not see that person's perspective right off the bat. You may not want to take that person's perspective as being good right off the back, or you really don't see it as being good, like, or you're really just in a process right now of trying to practice empathy, and it's getting hard, it's getting harder, it's been hard for you. Spirit is telling you to slow down, practice patience. That empathy is coming towards you. With patience, it says, I accept that everything happens in divine order. So you going through this process of having to find empathy, having to find both sides of the situation and acknowledge those, is going to take a little bit of patience on your end. It's going to take a little bit of slowing down, maybe not taking this move and walking away, but instead of walking away, practice patience, you know. Practice patience, try to wait it out, try to really, understanding takes time, so really try to work with that person or whatever situation you're in. Try to work to find empathy and establish some type of empathy in that relationship. Patience. So here's, what other messages do you have? Peace. So ultimately, seeing both sides of the story is going to give you clarity of the situation, is going to put you at a peace of mind of where both people are coming from, where both sides see things, how both sides feel. So with peace, it says, I'm a being of love and I release all negative energy. So some of y'all are in a state of not practicing empathy, and it really isn't giving you a type of peace of mind. It's really making you think about the situation and how it has affected you. With this broken heart, I get a lot of y'all are not at peace right now. A lot of y'all are working through seeing this heartbreak for what it is, having that balance and that clarity in your mind to see why someone has broken your heart, why have something broken your heart, you know, something maybe that's been a disappointment to you right now. You're not at peace because you haven't asked for clarity yet. You haven't seen both sides. You haven't actually seen the situation for all that it is. You haven't balanced the situation out on both sides. That's what I'm hearing. So with this peace card, it's saying that along this long empathy journey, you know, you're going to have patience in order to get to that peace, in order to get to that understanding of both sides, okay? So bring love into your situation. It's kind of hard to bring love with this broken heart, I understand, but, you know, empathy is wanting to understand that other person, you know. putting yourself aside, you know, listening to them for a bit. Like, it's hard. That's why patience is here, y'all. Spirit is telling you to be patient through this process. Be patient even when you don't want to do it, because there's a type of clarity that comes with practicing empathy, okay? So, Spirit, what last card do you have for my people? Courage. Oh my God. Courage. Practice empathy with courage, knowing that you have the strength to patiently seek out that person's perspective and patiently hear that person's perspective. That's what I'm hearing. So courage, it says, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. This situation where you are being called to practice empathy in, it may be a situation where it's caused you a lot of fear and lack of confidence and just lack of overall peace and balance. And that's what I'm getting from this spread. So go into empathy with a confident mindset. Go in with a knowing that this is what you need to do, a knowing that you need to balance out the situation and see all sides. You need to seek out clarity, and have patience while you're seeking out that clarity, because it's ultimately going to lead you to peace. You know, it's ultimately going to lead you to a place where you are aware of the situation at hand, aware of both sides of the story, being aware, crown chakra, third eye, being aware, you know. But move forward, practicing empathy with courage, practicing empathy with inner strength. The inner strength I'm hearing is coming to y'all when y'all have to listen to this other person's side of the story. Honestly, I'm hearing like y'all, some of y'all in this group, y'all really have to buckle down and practice this patience with hearing this other person's side of the story. A lot of y'all are really wanting to walk away. The walking away card is here. You cannot deny that. Broken heart is here. So emotions are running high. Spirit is telling me to tell y'all to practice patience and slow down. Breathe a little bit. See both sides of the situation. Empathy for me is not necessarily, I say this again, you can understand a perspective, you don't necessarily have to accept it. So empathy is just seeing clearly what everything is, what both perspectives, what everyone's feelings are on the table. Put them out. You know, look at them with an eye of wanting to seek out the truth, wanting to seek out the clarity, wanting to seek out any information that you need to from that person's perspective. But there's an understanding and patience that has to go along with that, okay? So for my group number 1, I challenge y'all to look at both sides. I challenge y'all to communicate with that person, or to try to reevaluate whatever relationship you're in right now, where you have to see both sides. You have to see two sides of the coin, honestly. I challenge y'all to seek out clarity, to seek out a balance of your mind. I'm hearing right now, because emotions running high with this broken heart, emotions running high with wanting to walk away. You know, Spirit's telling me to just bring it back. Practice patience. Practice a balance of just seeing the situation really, really and truly for all aspects, from all points of view. That's when you see a scope of everything. That's when everything is in front of you, laid out in front of you, okay? Practicing this empathy could possibly get you through this process of being brokenhearted, wanting to walk away. It's all leading you to your peace and your inner strength. Empathy builds up your inner strength, having the ability to acknowledge other people and acknowledge other people in the situation. That is strength within itself, not being so selfish where you can't see where that person's coming from, okay? So empathy is a selfless act, an act that takes patience, an act that takes time, that takes you not walking away, but listening, okay? So I really hope anyone who watches this message has gotten something out of this. This is all I have for my group number 1 for your affirmation of empathy. I will see you on next week with our Where We're At Wednesday and a new affirmation. Hello, group number 2. This is your Where We're At Wednesday. You chose the card with the clear quartz. We have the affirmation of denial, and it says, I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. So with denial, I really think about the headspace of someone who is in denial. Denial comes from within, not wanting or not being able to see the truth that is in front of you. Denial is not having an insight of awareness. So heavily when I think about this card, I think about how important it is to really work on our crown chakra and really work on our sense of clarity when going into any situation. You never want to feel like you're in denial or that you're not fully seeing something or someone for who they are. So there has to be an ever-growing type of practice with your crown chakra and really asking for insight and really opening your mind up to seeing the truth, being aware of the truth, and accepting the truth. Denial is not accepting something that is seen or known, you know. You have to acknowledge that you're not accepting that. You're fearful of that maybe. But you have to replace that with the insight of awareness that you know what is true, you know what is fact, so you can get out of this state of denial. So with my people who chose group number 2, really think about your crown chakra, your headspace just in general, with how you're seeing a situation or how you're seeing someone, and go forward with wanting to get clarity and wanting to get a clear headspace so you can acknowledge that denial and replace it with awareness and truth. That will better the situation. Denial can cause stagnation. It can cause us to be in a state of stagnation, not going anywhere, not receiving information, not seeing information for what it is. So, Spirit, what do you have for my group number 2 for denial? So some of y'all is maybe a denial about a relationship. We have the man holding a heart here. So we're thinking about things that we are emotionally attached to. I'm thinking about things that are emotionally attached to people, you know. We have appreciation. So starting with this man holding a heart, for some of you, thinking of your relationships that you are emotionally involved with or anything that you have love for. This could not be a physical man holding a heart, but something that you really are, you know, in love with. Are you really denying yourself the truth about if this thing is good for you? It could be for a person or a thing. We have to think about denial in all aspects of relationships in our life. Like, are we really seeing what we want to see, or are we seeing what is true? So with this man holding a heart, for some of you, romantically, you have to put yourself in a position where you don't necessarily see with your love, but you see with your eyes, and you actually see what is in front of you, what your relationship is, and what is its truth. Ultimately, what is its truth? That is asking for inside awareness, to seek out what is true and what is good in a relationship, what is good in a situation, you know, not being in denial, not having a shield ultimately over our eyes, accepting that we have to face something that we may not like, but we accept it, acknowledge that fear with facing it, and replace it with the insight of awareness. So, appreciation. I think this is Spirit telling you to really, like I was saying, crown chakra earlier, opening up your crown chakra, opening up your head space, your third eye. All of those things are good to seeing what should be seen. We are all divinely guided, and we each have a path, and each have truths that need to be revealed to us. So Spirit is really telling you right now to be appreciative of what they're trying to tell you, to be appreciative of them giving you that inside of awareness, you know, and also be appreciative to your spirit guides in return for giving you that inside awareness, allowing you to mentally get stable, mentally seek clarity, seek out clarity, and gain it, whether it's in a relationship, a situationship, but not to live in a state of denial, to always live in a place of awareness, having that insight and having that knowledge about what is true, what is in front of you, what is being placed before you, okay? So we have to do more affirmations to help us with this denial, to help some of y'all with this relationship, some of y'all with this appreciation for spirit, showing y'all what you need to know, what you need to see, you know, who you need to see for what they are, who they are, anything like that. Denial could be in any situation. So spirit, what do you have for my group number 2 about denial? We have pride. So with pride, it says, I love myself and I see myself in everyone. We have freedom. That's a big one. And then we have judgment and guilt. Oof. Okay, so with this pride card, me reading this all together, I really think you need to take time out to give yourself credit, especially with this guilt and this pride playing against each other. Really take time out for how far you've come in this situation, and really take time out to I really want to say this appreciation is about being appreciative of getting to a point where you actually realize your denial, you know? Appreciating the journey, like even with the hard stuff, even with the good stuff, there's wins and losses. You have to be appreciative of the entire journey. So with pride, love yourself enough to call on your spirits for awareness. Love yourself enough to want to seek out knowledge about the situation you may be in denial of. Love yourself enough to want that for yourself, to want to get out of this denial. Love yourself enough to do that. We move to the freedom card. It says, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. This freedom from denial, freedom from being in this idea of stagnation, like not seeing something for fully what it is, you know? Not seeing something could really make you take a step back and not move forward. You really want to see situations clearly for what they are. So calling on that insight of awareness, calling on that crown chakra to be cleared, calling on that third eye to be clear to further see, you know, what you need to see, is freedom from this denial, freedom from feeling like you do not know what's going on, you know? Or freedom from not accepting what's going on. For some people, it's two sides. Like, you're truly in denial because you don't see it, or you're truly in denial and you want to be in denial. But I feel that's not a very freeing spirit for me right now. Like, I'm not feeling that as I'm filming this. Like, being in a state of denial is not freedom. You possess the power to see. You possess the power to see if something is unhappy or if something is happy, you know? So with denial, going through denial, you may have some judgment, maybe judgment of yourself. I'm feeling for some of y'all, especially with this guilt card, self-guilt, you know, thinking about, man, I should have not been in a state of denial. I should have seen this earlier. I should have appreciated my spirit for showing me what I needed to see. So with judgment, it says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. You have to understand, going back to pride, having pride in self, knowing that you are one and you need to love yourself. But understanding that you have a different path than everyone else. Your path to seeing your denial is different from everyone else, you know? You may have to go through seeing or feeling denial for a while and then going to appreciation your spirit guides and having that appreciation for a sense of clarity before you even get to a point where you're overcoming this denial. It's okay to be on a path and to not know where you're going, but you're going somewhere. Like, a lot of people don't know when they're gonna get out of a state of denial. Like, a lot of people won't know that. Like, they're just like, I'm trying, but you know, I don't know if this thing will free me. That's why I'm saying, like, denial is not a freeing thing. So get back to having freedom and having a sense of clarity. Freeing the headspace, I'm hearing right now, freeing the headspace. Freedom, not just freedom from denial, but freedom from the clouding of the headspace, the clouding of the third chakra. Do that without judgment. Don't judge yourself through this process of overcoming and getting over this denial. Don't judge yourself, you know. Know that it's your path is unique. You had to see the things that you saw to get to this point where you realize your denial, you're accepting your denial, you're overcoming it, okay? So going on to this guilt card, some of y'all are having guilt. Don't have guilt. Like I said, our path is ours, you know. Some people take more time. Some people can get over it. We are all different. We're all different. Don't put yourself on a time that's someone else's time. Put yourself on your own divine time and what Spirit has for you. Going back to your appreciation for Spirit, they'll show you things when they need to be seen. You have to be aware. You have to be aware of your crown. Having that insight, having that awareness to see what Spirit wants to show you when they want to show you, you know. Then the third eye, seeing your intuition, using your intuition, knowing your intuition. So guilt, it says, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. So releasing denial because it's not serving you. It is not serving your soul's growth. It is not giving you anything but confusion. It is not giving you anything but the lack of awareness. You have to release it. You have to release it and you have to grow so that you can get past this denial, overcome this denial, and have an insight of awareness. So with that, my group number 2, I ask you to call on your spirit guides to have appreciation for them showing you what they need to show you when they need to show you it. And if any of y'all are dealing with a relationship, just ask for clarity. If it's a relationship, if it's a romantic relationship, a family relationship, any type of relationship with this man in the heart, anything that you emotionally feel for, that you may have been denying yourself the true feelings of, take a step back and to really see if you have a freedom of your mind, you have a pride of yourself to know that you need to see something for what it is. Do you have appreciation for Spirit? You're getting to that place where you're overcoming without judgment and without guilt. Be aware of all of that, but it first starts with getting your crown chakra and getting your third eye together. I see you, my group number 2. I see you moving forward with a wanting to be free, wanting to not deny yourself anymore. So I see you moving forward with a greater awareness, wanting to be aware, knowing that you need to be aware. I send my love to you, group number 2. That is all I have for you for this Wednesday. Hello, my group number 3 with a black tourmaline crystal. You have the affirmation this week of change. It says, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. So I really love this card. I love how this card looks. I love that change is being sought out, is being told like as a good thing, you know. With change, some people really don't like change. But I think if change is an evolution, if change is what is needed, if change is really going to be a powerful point for you, you should change. You should take on this change as a betterment. Take on this change as an evolution. Take on this change as a movement, you know? Whatever my group number 3 is going through right now, with change, you probably want to think of things that you may have either changed in your life or are trying to change, and if they are good for yourself. So with change, think about the pros and cons, honestly. Like, where will I be with this change? Where will I be without this change? Think about both sides. I definitely think when we want to change or when we want to anticipate a change, we think about all outcomes, right? We think about every side of it. You know, we think about how we want to embrace it, how we want to deal with it. So with my people for group number 3, think about the change you want to implement, how you have changed, how you evolved, and think about the journey overall. You know, think about how change has influenced you, how the changing of people have influenced you. You know, this change could not even be related to you or things that you have changed specifically. Some people have to change under circumstances. So with my group number 3, think about how you've changed, when you've changed, where you've changed, the growth, the movement, the evolution, all of it. Think about the bad, the good. Think about it all. So we have Magician in the Mirror. So a lot of y'all have taken on this change within yourself. A lot of y'all have been that person who have manifested change in their life. With the Magician in the Mirror, he is a person who is really working on manifesting abundance, manifesting harvest into his life, manifesting good things. And he is changing his outlook by knowing that he can do it. You know, his outlook is not from the standpoint of not wanting to receive things or not wanting to have things flow into his life. He wants that change. He wants those things that he is manifesting to come into his life and change. So a lot of y'all have been working on yourself and changing and manifesting a change into a situation, into a relationship maybe that you've been working on, or anything that has the opportunity to evolve and move and not stay the same. So with Magician in the Mirror, for those for a message to those who want to pull change into their life, Spirit is telling you with this card to manifest it. You know, some have already manifested this change, but if you're on the other side where you really need change, manifest that change into your life, you know. Manifest where you want to go. Manifest what you want to do. You have the power. Magician in the Mirror, that is showing up as your energy. So manifest it. Manifest the things that you want to evolve and move. Manifest it all. Have a want and opening, you know, to have this change in your life. So for some of y'all, financial constraints is in reverse. So for some of y'all, change in finances, a change of how money influences you. Money influences how well you move, you know. But this change is about movement and evolution. Has money stopped your movement? Has money stopped your evolution? So for some of y'all, taking a step back from financially, how money has a hold over you financially, how your money situation maybe hasn't changed. I'm getting, for some of y'all that have financial constraints, that may have this card upright, you know, and not in reverse, the release of it. If you want to get to the release of it, manifest it. If you want to get to a place where financial constraints are not changing the way you're moving through your life, changing your happiness, changing your evolution, manifest it. For some of y'all, you're saying maybe it's not finances, but anything you want to happen to implement this change into your life, manifest it. That is the key right now that Spirit's telling me. It's all manifestation. It's all manifesting change and being aware that we can actually manifest it. You know, a lot of people have power within them that they haven't used. And it takes a little bit of knowing. It takes a little opening yourself up to really figure out what your power is and how much power you have. But with this group right now, I'm really feeling that y'all have the power, each and every one of y'all that's watching this. Y'all are this magician in the mirror. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we are all magicians in our own mirror, right? You know, looking in the mirror day by day, know that you can do it. You have the power to change anything in your life, to evolve into any person you want to be, to live however you want, to move however you want. Your personal movement, your personal change, you know, your personal manifestation. I'm loving it, y'all. Like, I really love this card. Change is powerful. I said that, like, in my post. Change is a powerful thing. You know, change is so powerful. So, Spirit, what other affirmations do you have for my group, my third group? The group of change. Spirit, how do we change? How do we accept change into our life? With courage, y'all, man. To want to change, you have to be ready for it. You know, you have to be strong enough to say, I need to change. For some of us, we haven't got to that point where we are saying, oh, I need to change. Like, I know I need to change. I need to acknowledge that I need to change, have the strength to overcome something that is causing me not to change, causing me not to evolve. You know, with courage, it says, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. So this fear may be the fear of change. A lot of people are fearful of change, which is why a lot of people were affected with COVID. You know, COVID changed a lot of people. COVID changed a lot of routines, a lot of things that we used to do. You know, it changed a lot. And that's fearful for a lot of people. That's really scary. So with this situation, know that going into change should not sway you. It should only make you stronger, because that inner strength is already there. It's just a challenge. For some of y'all, your change is a challenge. For some of y'all, it's going to be hard overcoming financial constraints. Like if that's where you are, it's going to be a challenge, but go at it courageously, because ultimately this inner strength is your magician in the mirror. This inner strength is what you already have, the power inside of you. Like I said, you know, you're either the person who knows that you have true power when you look in the mirror, or you're a person that really is trying to be aware of their power. So that in itself, changing your mindset, changing to where you see yourself as powerful, that can be scary. But have courage that you actually are powerful. Have courage and confidence that you can get to a point where you are a powerful magician that is in the mirror manifesting change into their life, manifesting relief of anything, you know, manifesting happiness and light. Okay, so group number 3, we have happiness here. It says, I'm aware that being happy means I am on the right path. So your happiness, what makes you happy, changes through your life. We know that, right? But going through change, are we changing for the better? Are we changing to seek happiness? You know, with a lot of y'all, I'm pulling from this financial constraints, releasing that, because it's in reverse, releasing that type of restrictive movement that money has given some of y'all. Like changing how money flows at you, changing how money stops your movement, or maybe hinders how you are feeling that day. Like changing that, finding your happiness outside of something that's holding on you. You know, being aware that you can have happiness and change, being aware that happiness is ultimately, you know, what we should strive for when we are wanting to change, wanting to evolve. Happiness is also a journey. Happiness is also very subjective. So for a lot of y'all, it's finding personal happiness, just like y'all are finding your personal power with this magician in the mirror. So Spirit, what other messages do you have for my group number 3, the Black Tourmaline? We have self-esteem. Okay? So self-esteem, it says, I possess the gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. I'm really feeling that self-esteem is like, you know, look in the mirror and know that you are powerful. Know that you possess gifts, and that those gifts are manifestation. I heavily feel like that for group number 3. Your gift is manifestation. Your gift is personal power. Move into a space of having that personal power, seeing that personal power, you know. I heavily feel like that. Group number 3, y'all are people who manifest. Y'all are people who have the ability to manifest, okay? So with self-esteem, it says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So you possess a gift of manifestation. Whether you take that manifestation and use that as a gift to change, you know, situations around you that involves people, that's a theme. You know, that's a gift that helps other people. That's a gift that helps yourself when you're a part of the situation. But, you know, having self-esteem to know that you are powerful, knowing that you possess gifts, knowing that you possess the ability to manifest and to change and to evolve and to have movement. To have movement as a human is powerful. To have the ability to have a story is powerful. Evolution is a story, you know, this road to happiness. Personal happiness, I say, because happiness is very subjective. But personal happiness, what you need to personally change and to get to this personal happiness, okay? So we end with our denial card. It says, I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. I'm definitely going back to the idea of some of y'all are very scared of this change. Like, I'm not afraid of change, me personally, but it can be fearful. It can be very scary for people who don't want to change. Like, you have to understand that, like, but when I'm telling y'all to look at your change, see if you actually need to change for good. See if the change is for your good. And don't deny yourself of any change that is for your good, ultimately, you know. Ask for clarity, ask for awareness. Ask, especially when you're manifesting, be aware of what you're trying to manifest, and make sure that it's good for you. It is of what you want. It is what you want and what you want to come into your life. You know, we can manifest things that are bad for us. We can want bad change, okay? So being aware of where we need to go, how we need to move, like what things are good for us, is also going into that self-esteem, you know, moving in a way that is ultimately going to be good for yourself, you know, having that self-esteem, having that ultimate pride in your journey and where you want to go. But denial, acknowledging your fear and replacing it with the inside of awareness. Awareness of the change around you, I'm hearing. Awareness of not just the change you want to implement in yourself, but how people change around you. I definitely said that. Like, this change could not even be you specifically watching this reading. This change doesn't have to necessarily be you, but it could be people changing around you. So asking for an inside awareness to see that change, to not be in denial of that change, to accept that change, I'm hearing, to want that change, to know if that change is good or not. That is all the inside of awareness. That is all asking our spirit guides to tell us where we need to go, how we need to move, you know. So with my group number 3, with change, think about the good and the bad in your changes, the good and the bad in the changes around you. You know, if you want to change, manifest it. Biggest thing out of this reading that I'm getting for group number 3, y'all have the power to manifest, ultimately. You know, to manifest this change, to manifest change around you, to manifest inner change, you know. For some of y'all, releasing the type of hold that money has on you, maybe this hold that is keeping y'all from changing and evolving and moving forward, releasing that, manifesting that out of your life, you know. Having the courage to tackle this change and to accept this change with open arms, you know. Getting to personal happiness, I go back and say happiness is subjective. So find your happiness, y'all. Find your happiness. Self-esteem, you know, knowing when you need to change, having the ability to see when you need to change for yourself, you know. And then denial, don't be in denial of change or what needs to change. Know that it's changing for a reason, ultimately, okay? Know that it needs to change for a reason. It's a journey, you know. Journeys have changing times, changing paths, changing roads. It's all in the journey, y'all. So I send my love to you, group number 3, and I will see you on next Wednesday.